weird to him. And then yesterday, look at what happened to Newell. Newell filed credit amendment. They fixed something. So I believe that if they want to do merge with BBBY, they have to do that step, and that's what exactly this banker guy told me. BBBY has to go back and they have to modify their credit amendment, and then after that they could announce merger acquisition. So that's happening to Newell, and I think it's back to BBBY, and then they might have to fix those things, and then they have to announce it afterwards. So that's just kind of what I think, right?
What on the Newell amendments? Are you talking about where the acquisition thing is mentioned?
No. I'm not talking about acquisition. I'm just talking about the credit amendment. So in order to, if the company wants, so usually in all the company when they file those AKs, basically what he's saying is because that's where he specializes, credit section, right? Usually there's a two type of a positive and negative, but in the negative covenant section, basically it says no M&A whatsoever. Like every files there's AK, there's no M&A. So basically BBBY has to, file another filing, and then they have to remove that file, remove that negative covenants, say no M&A, and then basically they have to modify it. They have to amend their the credit agreement between banks and the company. And then what happened to Newell? They didn't say anything about acquisition or a merger with BBBY. However, they fixed their credit amendment yesterday, and that's what I saw. So if BBBY also amends their credit agreement in the negative covenants, it's like a set to go.
Yeah. Okay. There was just also another, but this is very interesting. Yeah, absolutely right. There was also just some mentions.
This is coming from the specialized guy for us. So.
Wow. There's also been mentions of another thing where they is that it was in one of these items filing where there's mentioned something about acquisition and 1.5 billion. Draw up to 1.5 and maybe it was raised to 2 or whatever, but we just yesterday found that it has been the same verbiage for also in September 2020, and we even found it back in 2018. So there was something there that didn't change and wasn't necessarily indicative of something bullish, right? But if what you're saying is true there, I want to see that. That's do you have any screenshots of that? That's really interesting.
Yeah, so basically BBBY has to next thing is BBBY has to amend their credit agreement in the negative covenant sections, and then after that they could announce M&A. Another thing I also found, I don't know if anyone actually shared this, but I was gonna share this on Reddit, but I actually didn't have much time to do it like yesterday night. Interesting thing is our B Rally. You guys mentioning about B Rally, I was listening. You guys, you're streaming. Interesting enough, I talk about this a lot before. GREE, Greenwich, right? 2,000% squeeze, or maybe more, depending on where you look at. B Rally, they helped Greenwich and Support.com, M&A. I think this is, to be honest, like having these guys involved in BBBY at this point. Like I think Roach or someone else mentioning about like, how this guy's involvement, like basically this B Rally involvement is not just like bullshit, or if they're trying to be here just fuck around. Like
why would they fucking touch this thing if it's
exactly
done? Why the fuck would they touch it?
Yeah, they're here to do something, guys.
Yeah.
And then when I look at this, can I share screen?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I wanna just show it to everybody.
Okay.
Hopefully, share screen works. Yeah, look at this. Do you guys see here, Greenwich?
Yeah.
Yeah, they helped this one to go through M&A.
Oh, really?
Current board members.
And look at this, Chicken Soup and Soul. You guys remember?
Yeah, Redbox. Yeah.
They are here too.
Wow.
There's also a lot of bad examples. You got to point out there is a shitload of bad examples as well.
Yeah, but like those companies were like honestly shit though. If like the bad examples, they were just like they already had shitty ass boards and stuff, just shit companies. That couldn't really even at the end of the day really be saved. But this is a company with value in my opinion. Same thing with the reason why the Chicken Soup and the Redbox thing went through, because the company had fucking value, man. So
you have to remember that what you're looking at here with Bed Bath & Beyond is a nationally recognized huge fucking brand. It's not some butt fuck company that we've never heard of.
Yeah, you caught me. I was on the Greenwich.
The intrinsic value to build a brand that big with such a history to it, it takes like a decade to do and billions of dollars, billions and billions of dollars to get a brand to that level with a national recognition. So the inherent value just in the transaction alone is worth a lot.
Yeah. So, I believe something is going on. Definitely. I mean, Kai. I see Kai as more like an entertainer. I mean, he's very. I don't know. It's hard to take him seriously, but when I saw him post about the April 3rd, the book, some sort of like documents from the former U.S. president, the Teddy guy. Yeah, when I saw that date, I'm like, whoa! Like it actually matched with the Ryan Quinn tweet. I don't know if it was just a coincidence, but yeah, that was quite interesting. I don't know, there's gonna something, but yeah. But anyway, yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk about is I mean, this is just my speculation, but I do believe that people talk about why BBY is getting short this much, and then I last night somehow I came to the conclusion that BBY could be much more in deep water than what we think, because what I remember back then, because I play AMC before. I don't know you guys, but I play AMC before too, and I took some profits from there.
Yeah, 2021, I played it a little bit too.
Yeah. I took some profits in June, but what I remember was there was a guy called I don't watch this guy anymore, but there's a guy called Al from Boston, and he actually interviewed a former Overstock CEO, Patrick Bryan, I think, and what I found is very interesting because he, as you guys know, Overstock is also e-commerce company, and at the time they were competing against Amazon.com. And then what he said was basically the all guy asked him like, do you think Amazon was sort of like targeting your company, like some sort of thing? And then he's like, he admit that he said, yeah, he literally said that Amazon and Goldman Sachs, they played a big role to attack his company. He literally said that. So from that logic, if we think about how powerful I don't know. I don't work in institution. I don't work in Wall Street. I don't work in finance. So I don't know how big the crime is. But I believe that even when you guys look at GameStop, there's a big guys maybe supporting Amazon, and they want to they want to have that monopoly positions in US and even all over the places. But the thing is, GameStop was targeted as was to be a bankrupt company, but active investor, especially Ryan Quinn, saved the company, right? Look at BBY right now. I believe that they're targeted. They were targeted a long time ago, probably by short sellers, and and then when I look at this, like this stock is just I mean I personally I talked to Mooncake last night and a few days too, and yeah, like it's so hard to believe that this stock hammer it down to like fucking like 0.45 or something like that. So when I try to think about why they have to do this thing, it could be a dilution. Yeah, that's true, but I don't know. I feel like there's something going on behind the scene, and then I do believe that they're that desperate probably too, And then when I look at how Overstock was got attacked by Amazon
Overstock.
and Goldman. Yeah, man. I mean, I clearly I do believe that in even that what's his name, Tritton, the former CEO of BBBY, he filed fucking lawsuit against like BBBY or something. It's like, come on, guys, like.
Yeah, you saw that too with Triton. Like, why wait until right now to fucking file it, man? Like, come on, man. Fucking 9 months ago, he could have fucking done it. He was putting out the fucking company. Fucking god.
I know, right? No, so I clearly said this too. Sense. Yeah, he was involved in as a short seller. He was a part of the short seller and CFO. I mean, I'm sorry, but he died.
Shit,
yeah, CFO, CEO, CTO, they were heavily involved with the short sellers, like BCG Group, for the GameStop, and they were. So CTO got fired because of data breach, and they clearly wants to help the short sellers with the data. It's like, hey, this is data, short this stock, release the fucking news. help this company go bankrupt so that maybe they take profits, they take some interest. Anyway, so I do believe that that was their plan, but their plan got destroyed by fucking activist investor, I believe, either Kyle Khan or Ryan Cohen. And basically that's it. And now this guy came into April now saying like, hey, like, lawsuit, blah blah blah, like really just the same thing, targeting Ryan Cohen, file lawsuit against Ryan Cohen. All this, all
You
same
copy.
bullshit. Yeah.
Think about Triton. I mean, he was spending $300 million every 90 days before RC showed up
man.
to do
Sorry,
share
can you? Oh, sorry, ABC. Can you say it again? He
was
spent
buying $300 million of share buybacks. And
Yeah.
that's what happened with RC is he came in at 9.8% when he wrote the letter to the board and took an interest in them. And because of that kind of share buying every 90 days, 300 million, yet they were so much in debt. To me, that was total mismanagement, and that kind of shows.
It is. But you are oversaturating. It's not 300 million a quarter. The highest was 230 million in buybacks, and that was exactly when he was building his position. They did in February, and RC started in January. So they did this to throttle him. Absolutely.
Just to bring something into the conversation here that I think is important to think about, even though we can basically say GME is not involved at this point. RC and RC Ventures is not GME. So you do have to remember that. Now, I want to look back. Someone just mentioned this in Discord, and it was something we talked about a while ago, and I've kind of backburnered it and forgot about it, but it is important. Why would RC and the company leave the standstill in place, even though RC's hands were clean and he was gone? And just because he sold in August doesn't mean that he was restricted from owning any shares, or RC Ventures was restricted from owning any shares again in the future. Now, in that standstill agreement, it does state that if RC's 3 members that he placed are removed or leave for any reason within that standstill period, RC has the right to nominate and appoint a replacement. And the kind of rules around that is that he must be in possession of at least 3.9 million shares in order to do so. So when you saw his member leave in December, then he would have had the right to appoint somebody had he sold or held the 3.9, and the 3.9 would not put him in a position to report, so we would never know about it. It's not crazy to think that Carol Flatten was actually RC's insert for the replacement for Rosenwig, I think was the one who left in December. So it's possible, and that the RSA cancel and reinstatement was done as a workaround for a clause inside of there that prevented it because of something called similar compensation. I'm not saying for sure that that's what happened, but it's very plausible that RC left the standstill in place because he wanted the ability to still influence the board right up until the end. So Rosenwig got out and he inserted Carol Flatten because her specialties were needed in the board at that time. Yeah. And you would never know because he wouldn't have to file the 3.9 million shares.
Yeah. We did use a lot of time looking into this a bit over a month ago. And I believe we came to the conclusion that it wasn't completely possible to prove that it could only be him, right?
Yeah, we couldn't say for sure, but we also couldn't say that we could debunk it, right?
No, if he bought enough shares, like the 3.9 million shares, then he had the right to do exactly so. Yeah.
I have it on screen here. Sorry about that.
No problem. It was just the thing I talked about earlier. The November deal, I believe, is exempt because they restricted the shares, so they can't sell them. And as I mentioned, you have to ask, why would a party lock up all this cash, like 10% ownership in a distressed company, and you can't sell them? You got some future plans. The one thing that does speak against that is that the funicular deal we had, That was the first one. It was about just around 2.7 million shares they got from their bonds. It said the same legalese with the the 506 C from the Securities Act and also the 421, right? But it ended up that we saw that one anyway. I did find some legalese that says that they don't have to not disclose it. There's nothing saying they can't do it anyway. Maybe they just agreed. Okay, I'm fine with letting my name be known anyway from Funicular. But yeah, that would be the one thing that would challenge that. But yeah, the legalese really says the 506C is restricted stock. So I don't see any way around it. That's my opinion, right?
Yeah, so just to kind of further this a little bit more, if Ryan's plan was to install a new director after Rosenzweig or Bowen, it's be in his best interest to make sure the new director was compensated only with a fixed wage prior to an acquisition or a spinoff. No equity ownership warrants due to a conflict of interest. But he couldn't do that because there's a like compensation clause in the appointment of a new director. However, Carol got put in right when the RSAs were canceled in that period of time. So she didn't receive any stock compensation, pure salary.
Yeah. That's why we theorized it happened. Like the legalese says that any new replacement director, the BBY board agreed that they would have to get the same compensation as the others. And they got RSAs, and maybe they didn't want. Maybe she didn't even want them. I'm not doing this job if you're giving me RSAs in this. If I'm coming in here in this capacity, or maybe it's because if she's there as a proxy from RC, or maybe I count through RC or whatever. If he chooses someone through that.
Well, we did see she had connections, right? To
we did see ICANN connections.
Well, I was going to say this. Okay, so get this.